Hello students, let's start class 6 chapter materials around us. This is a science chapter from the NCERT book. चलो start करते हैं हम. So see, the first topic is observing objects around us. Whatever we are seeing, everything is made up of something. See, in this universe there are two things. Either it is matter or it is energy. But here we are studying that whatever objects we are seeing, see this book, phone, table, chair, everything is made up of a particular type of material. So that properties decides that whether we have to use, say, paper for making a chair or wood for making a chair. Okay. Now, here they have given examples like for clay was used for making pots in olden times. These days we even get utensils made of steel or copper, even glass, right? So materials are made up of, so there are different type of materials which we are using for creating the project of the objects. Now we have how to group materials. See, we need to understand why grouping is important first of all. Grouping of materials is called classification. Why do we need this type of grouping? Number one, for our convenience. Number two, it tells us even about the properties of different materials, their similarities or dissimilarities. See, as I told you, color, hardness, softness, solubility, density, transparency, these are all the properties on the basis of which we can classify or organize or group the materials. These properties again then help us in finding out the right material for making an object. So that is the purpose exactly for classification of materials. Okay, then we come to the next topic. See, very in detail, nothing has been given. It's the picture. So have you understood the concept? Like for example, a question comes, this is a glass tumbler. What do you think it should be made up of? Now, a tumbler these days, glass, it can be made from plastic, from steel, from glass. Even you have clay. You have seen those chai given at roadside in small clay tumblers. Why? What is the property? First, it should not be leak. It should not leak. So it should be leak proof. This girl is putting water in a cloth bag, which is not possible. Why? Because it is going to leak down. So these type of questions comes that what do you think a chair should be made up of? So you will say I will select wood, someone else will say I will select plastic. Plastic has its own qualities, wood has its own qualities, right? So in this way the grouping is very important. Similarly, here another example is given of the balls. When we select a ball for any type of activity, so the sports, it will depend upon the properties. Here say example, bouncing property. The best is of basketball. You always bounce. In among these, next will be the tennis ball, then cricket, and then hand exercise ball. Now the hand exercise ball is very soft, dense foam. It will not bounce back. So understood, this is how we have to remember why we are grouping. So depending upon the properties, we are grouping the substance. So this is the main meaning for it. Now we have even divided the groups based upon the shapes: square, conical, cuboidal. There are many shapes, right? So now we come to there are other properties like suppose lustrous and non-lustrous. Lustrous means shiny. Okay, so all those especially metals, you can say they are shiny. Gold, silver, they are used for making jewelries. Even steel is shiny. Understood? So, and there are non-lustrous material like wood, rubber. So when light falls on a substance and it shines, this is called lustrous, right? So these days, even you can polish certain substances and make them shiny. That is something else. But otherwise, this property is called lustrous. Another property which has been given as hard and soft. See, hard materials, wood, cement, they are all hard. Even plastic is hard. Now soft, we have pillow, we have cushions, cotton, mattress, they are all soft, right? So we have those properties. So in this chapter we are actually learning about various type of properties and their uses. Now see, this chart has been given here. Hard, soft, brick, water bottle, hard. Soft is pillow and sweater. The remaining things are hard which cannot be compressed. What is hard? When you compress it, you cannot press it. right? Then we have, on the basis of transparency, we have transparent, translucent, and opaque objects. See here, we have transparent, clean air, clean water, glass. They are all transparent, so that is why they are used for window panes, right? So you are able to see. But these days there are other type of glasses like frosted glass, butter paper. They are translucent. Those objects through which light can pass through, completely transparent. Some light passes, translucent. Does no light passes, opaque. Opaque is wood, cement, right? So if you know the name, the property, you will be able to select that which part you have to use. Like you do not want a wall is opaque, you do not want people to see from outside, so you are using cement, right? But in window panes and glasses you want everything to see, so for glass panes you are using transparent materials. Okay, now this these type of question comes, list of materials, and you have to tell whether they are transparent or translucent. Okay, now we come to a solution. When we dissolve something, it we make a solution. So there are two parts of it. One is the solute and one is the solvent. The substance which we are dissolving is called the solute, and the substance in which we are dissolving is called as a solvent. Water, universal solvent. Why? Because majority of the substances can be dissolved in water. Okay, now those substances which dissolve in water very nicely, they mix properly, evenly, you cannot see. They are called soluble substances, and there are certain substances which are insoluble. Sugar, salt, soluble; chalk, water; sand, sawdust, insoluble. Because they settle down similarly. Kerosene oil, mustard oil, butter, they cannot be dissolved in water, right? So they form a separate layer, so they are considered insoluble substances. So each property, and you have questions based on the property. Okay, now there is a very important part which is called ORS. O stands for oral, R for rehydration, and S for solution. See, solution, it was made. When we take it through mouth, it is called oral. It helps in our hydration. That is why it is called rehydration. It was an Indian doctor who had discovered the formula for ORS, and everybody today also uses it. Very, very important. Whenever you fall sick, or even if you are not feeling sick but you have gone out in such heat, if you come back, you should drink 1 glass of ORS. Why? Because it has not only water, it has the exact desired amount of minerals which our body needs. So that is why this formula was made, especially when people suffer from, say, any type of gastric problems like diarrhea, vomiting. So they lose a lot of water and minerals. It's not just water. So the body needs those minerals for proper functioning of our heart, kidney, for maintaining proper blood pressure. That is why this ORS was a lifesaver which was discovered, because many people used to die in olden times due to diarrhea, cholera, these type of diseases. So even if you do not have, these days sachets are available, you should always keep it at home. Never use glucon D type of things when you are dehydrated, because it further leads to dehydration. Why? It is a mechanism which we will study in our higher class, but ORS, and that too WHO recommended ORS, always use that to maintain hydration. We can even make it at home. 1 liter of water you have to take. It should be clean water. Otherwise, boil the water, cool it. 6 tablespoons of sugar and 1 teaspoon of salt. Mix it, and your solution is ready. Right. So this is recommended even in those remote areas where, if ORS is not available. Now another example which is given here is dissolved gases, like when we are talking about solubility. So gases also dissolve. Oxygen, it is present in water, used by aquatic animals and plants, because they have animals have gills. So when water flows over it, it is able to take oxygen from dissolved oxygen from water. Now we come to another property, whether a substance is heavy or light. How do you come to know? We generally weigh. Okay, so we find out the weight, which and we say that it has a higher mass, though there is a difference between mass and weight. But for the timing in class 6, remember that mass we generally use it by weighing. Similarly, space we use it by by volume. How much space the thing is going to use, that represents its volume. And what is the SI unit of volume? It is cubic meter. Suppose we have this example has been given. There are two tumblers, same size, shape, everything is same. Now here the water is half, here their water is full. So what does it show? Here the volume is less of the water, here the volume is high, because here it is occupying less space, here it is occupying more space. So if it is occupying more space, it has more volume. Done. Okay. Now we come to, see, whenever if you see the liquid items, they always are written in liters or milliliters. Okay, that represents the quantity it is occupying. ठीक है? So here are the units which we are using. See, SI unit of mass is always kg. How do we write? We always use small letters. We never use a gap. This we have also done in that chapter of matter, the units portion. Then we do not use S. We do not write kgs. Remember, we always write kg. One space has to be, we have to use one space between 7 and kg, means the number and the unit. So in the chapter of measurement we have done. So a measurement represents the number and the unit. Number here is 7, the unit is kg. Here S is not written, so it is written not. So let's see this. So there is a space between 7 and kg, no space between k and g. Okay. Okay. Now this is the unit given, SI unit of this. 1 meter cube is equals to 1000 liter. You have to remember this. Volume का जो unit होता है, SI unit is always cubic meter. And how much is cubic meter? 1 cubic meter, it is equals to 1000 liters. Okay. Okay, see, SI units are always different from the other units which we use in normal maths. So remember, there are 7 SI units which are considered the base standard units, the base units, and for volume it is meter cube and it is not liter, though we are using it in day-to-day life just for telling the quantity. And liter we use capital L, we do not use capital in case of kg. Why? Because later if we write small, it might confuse it with say 1 sometimes, that is why. Otherwise we for SI units they are always written in small letters. Exceptions are also there, like Kelvin we write capital K because it was after the scientist's name, that is why. Okay, now we come to what else? Okay, what is matter? Anything which has mass and occupies space is matter. Air is matter? Yes. How will you find out? Tell an experiment. We take balloon, deflated balloon, we inflate air, it increases in size, so it shows that it occupies space. Number 1 point. Then it has mass, you can weigh it, the deflated and inflated balloon. Yeah, with the weighing you will say that, you will see that the inflated balloon on a balance it will go down. So it has mass which we have proved by weighing. It occupies space which we have seen the size of a deflated and inflated balloon. So matter is something which has mass and occupies space. Both the things it has, it is shown. So air is matter. What is sunlight? Sunlight is energy. Okay. Now we come to, see, now we come to questions quickly. Then we are going to finish. Objects clearly seen, transparent space, matter, shiny surface. It is luster, mix is completely soluble. Okay. Kuch the questions are good. Why containers are transparent? So that see-through containers we are able to find out what is present inside the container, type, color, right? Then wood is translucent, false. Aluminium foil has luster, true. Eraser does not has true. Sugar dissolves in water, sawdust does not, true. Apple is a matter, yes, but it occupies no space. This is wrong. Okay, so overall this will be false. Now here this is a question regarding the chairs. See, there these days a variety of chairs is available. Along with this, if you go to the parks, you can see those benches made up of iron, even cement and stone. Why? Because they are long lasting, any type of weather for years and years they are there. So if you say hardness, they will not bend if you are made of cement, stone, and even iron. Lightweight is plastic, some bamboo is also there. Cold, plastic and bamboo is generally not cold, but cement and stone and iron gets cold in winters. Now what can be cleaned regularly? Dekho, plastic is very easy to clean at home, and they made to look new even after long use. Bamboo is difficult to clean, cement and stone is also very easy to clean. Okay. Now here they are asking, you have materials, how will you, what packet you will use? You have food waste, you have broken glass, and you have waste paper. See, there are certain practical implications. So whenever you are reading, especially science, try to see what is present in your house. Questions do not come directly, they are always going to, like you have food waste, what kind of packet we will use? I will use a packet which does not leak, so I will use a plastic for it. For broken glass, I will, if I am using plastic, the plastic should be really thick. Otherwise, I will use a steel container. There are steel dustbins also, right? Or a thick cardboard. Suppose I have to put a broken glass. Otherwise, those sharp ends, they are going to cut the plastic if it is very thin. Waste paper, I can use any, even paper bags. Second way of differentiating is you can use on the form of, say, food waste is biodegradable. So waste paper is recycled. Broken glass is, it can also be recycled. Glass can be recycled. So, but here storage is, in terms of that is also important, because broken glass, it can hurt your fingers. So you should use something which does not get tear off. Then we come to, it is because air is transparent, wooden door is opaque. Now here a substance is given X. First it is rigid and soluble. आप सोचो कि what is soluble in water? Sugar, very easily, right? So, and it is solid. It cannot compress. If you compress, it does not, see, pressing means just pressing, right? And the second is why it changes its shape. You can use rubber, clay, but it is not soluble in water. Now we have, who am I? I have luster, I can write gold, silver. Easily compressed, I can write cotton, pillow, yeah, clay. Hard and soluble, sugar, salt. You cannot see clearly through me. You cannot see clearly. So these are translucent. So you have frosted glass and butter paper. Mass and volume, but you cannot see me, that is air. Vinegar, water, glucose, they are all soluble. Wheat flour not soluble, mustard oil not soluble. Okay, done. Okay.